Hey guys, welcome to Talk News. Please subscribe, like right now so you don't forget. Also hit that notification bell if you would like notifications. So right now, I wanted to share a few stories that I'm not going to probably keep up with too much, but I wanted to get them out there and kind of add them to our list. Alright guys, so this story is coming out of Anaheim, so a canyon near there, and Fullerton. Okay guys, so this is the U-Haul staff had actually tracked down a missing truck to the Santa Ana Canyon Road west of the Gypsum Canyon, which is in Anaheim, just before 11 a.m. and towed that U-Haul to their local storage facility in Fullerton. So they have to, check in inventory and that sort of thing. So as workers opened up the back of the vehicle to perform that inventory check of its contents, etc., they discovered something they didn't expect to find, and that was there was a missing person that was wrapped in plastic cardboard, duct tape, and it was wrapped very tightly. This is according to CBS Los Angeles. They said it was wrapped so tightly that they were not able to tell what gender, race this person was, let alone the person's identity. So it was just recently that we finally were able to find out who this person was. So of course the police department was called in, investigators and a coroner, and they all did their job, investigated this scene. Now guys, I think I forgot to mention that this truck was found Wednesday, and it was found in Fullerton, California. After some identity checks, checking out who's been missing, and of course doing the DNA, they found out that this woman that was in this truck was Ashley Manning. She had actually been missing since November. And guys, I look at a lot of stories, and I know I was busy around that time, but I don't remember seeing her name anywhere. What we're finding out is the police are looking to see who rented that truck. And what we're hearing is so far that the facility come up with the fact that the truck was rented in Anaheim. It had an expired lease, and it was towed back to a facility in Fullerton. Police say that they do have the rental history on this truck, but they're not going to share that history with the public as of right now because it is an active investigation. Alright, so let's go over some of the information before this happened. So Manning had been reported missing to the Los Angeles Police Department in November. Okay guys, so Manning, she had been reported missing in Los Angeles to the Los Angeles Police Department in November by a family member. The family member said that they lost contact with her. She had recently traveled to California from Texas and had a California's driver's license, according to Carringer. Carringer told, released at least a little information on how they thought about this, or what they thought about this case, and he said the circumstances of discovering her are absolutely suspicious. But he said that the department is awaiting toxicology report, which could take weeks to complete. So they are trying their best to determine what caused her death. The sad part about this is they're saying there's no suspects. Well, this is very curious to me for the fact that you have to have a driver's license, and it's pretty strict when it comes to renting U-Haul, so most likely they need to check into the last guy, don't you think? But they are saying they don't know how long Manning was in the back of that truck, and they don't know anything to share with the public right now. So according to this article, an autopsy was conducted by Orange County coroner, and that was on Friday. So Manning's sister posted on Facebook December 9th that her family had last heard from Manning, and it was about November 13th. She was getting on a plane from Dallas to Los Angeles. Her family has said that authorities were able to confirm that Manning got off the flight in Los Angeles and that they had been working with police to pull the security footage to see which car she got into or truck or whatever, what vehicle she got into. So Manning's sister was the one that was posted the news that Manning was discovered. The family said that they're trying to navigate this tragedy, but it's extremely hard, as you could imagine. So Carringer said, "We are not calling this a homicide yet." He said that it's obviously a suspicious death, and the circumstances in which the body was found are certainly suspicious. He says that they are going to treat it as if it could be a potential homicide case. He also said and noted that even though the person in the vehicle did not die as a result of homicide, other crimes may have been committed. So we're seeing a lot of things where a lot of these girls that are coming up missing and deceased, we're hearing that they're having this toxicology test. And so what is the purpose? Why is it that the people that are hunting these girls are most likely, I'm not saying this one is that case, but where they're drugging them? Let me tell you guys, it's just very bizarre, these new cases coming out. So they're saying that these tests can take, up to 7 weeks. So now I want to move on to our next case. Now this case stems back for a while. This is coming out of Salem, New Jersey. So I had just added her to my list about a month ago before Christmas started coming along. And my gosh, this one broke my heart. Now, we're not certain if this was an accident or something else, but I do want to have it documented just in case. So this story was reported back in 2014, and it was reported by the Burlington Township Police, and the FBI Missing Persons Notice asked people with information to contact the Burlington Township Department if they heard anything. This lady's name was Vanessa Smallwood, who was 46 at the time of her disappearance and was identified in a statement from a New Jersey State Police. So Vanessa Smallwood, who was 46 at the time of her disappearance, has been identified in a statement from New Jersey, and that's according to this article. She was a resident at the Maple Shade, according to this other statement. Okay, and so they put up pamphlets. They described that Smallwood was last seen at a dry cleaner store in Cherry Hill on January 27th of 2014. And that's according to like I mentioned, the FBI Missing Persons Notice. They also posted that Smallwood was driving a 2005 Chrysler Town and a country van. The woman's cell phone was recorded, the recorded ping was around 10:20 a.m. in Clayton. And since that time, there had been no activity from the victim to include her. This includes her credit card, debit cards, and they just really had no clue what happened to her. So they also just give a description of Smallwood's belongings, and this included a silver wedding band. They also reached out to the public, so the Burlington Township Police posted an online appeal for the public's help to try to find Smallwood, and that was on March 3rd of 2014. So right now, what is strange is the notice said that Smallwood had been reported missing by family members on February 6th of 2014. So wow. It's really kind of sad when we see how disconnected we are to our family. And as much as you want to admit you love your family, have you noticed that these days and times kind of require that you're not able to stay in contact with your family like you used to? So that results, if anything like this happens, it's normal that you don't hear from people, and so they don't get reported missing for a while. So how was she found? So diving contractors who were working to remove debris from the Salem River spotted a car on the bottom of the river, and that was Thursday morning. and they realized that it contained human remains. They notified authorities right away. Could you imagine if this was an accident? What in the world this woman must have went through? It's just, oh my gosh, it's very devastating. I've heard so many stories just in 1 year like this, and it's just strange to me that they don't check waterways when in the area when somebody goes missing immediately. It's almost like money plays the biggest role, or laziness. I can't figure it out which one is the ruler in this. When somebody is reported missing, they're quick to give up. And that's not the time I come from. The time I come from, our community didn't give up. They never give up, and they would search for people until they just didn't have anything left. Didn't matter if you had money or no money. And so that's what a lot of these younger people don't understand when they see us fussing about politics or something. They don't understand where we come from, and the community that we come from was so much better than it is today. Okay, so what happened? So this vehicle was found badly mangled, according to this article, and in bad condition. You know, the car was there about 6-7 years. And this article says that the New Jersey State Police, in a press release on Thursday, that members of the State Police Marine operation and other units arrived at the scene to remove the car from the river and recover the body. And they ended up taking it to the Southern Regional Coroner's Office, so for an autopsy. They also are saying that they do not suspect foul play. So really, I don't understand how they can come to that conclusion without an autopsy and things like this. Very quick to end these cases and close them, aren't they? And what gets me the most is the fact that, you know, it was nearly a month before they reported her missing. So that's very sad. All right, guys, we are going to wish this family the best. We're sending our love, and at least they were able to find answers. So I want to move on to this next story because I'm running out of space here. Okay, so this next story is on Erin Swikert. I'm not going to say that last name very often, so I'll refer to her as Erin. So I want to start off right here letting you know that they had found Erin Swikert's severely decomposed remains around 4:45 p.m. Thursday in the basement of a home on 2100 block of Porter Street, although she wasn't identified until the next day, Friday. So really, they did have some information that come out earlier on this story, so be careful. They ended up having to correct it later on. So according to what we know right now is this teen mother was last seen by her family and friends late September. That's how long she's been missing. And really, even though she had been missing that long, police had actually kind of stumbled upon her remains. And this is simply because they had a warrant at the house that she was being stored in, which we'll go over in just a minute. And they kind of found her during that time. And it was for, you know, these people that were in this house were, the warrant was for a robbery that had happened not too long ago. Now, when they arrived at this house, the acting police commissioner, Christine Coulter, told reporters Friday morning that this house had a strong odor that would be impossible for anybody inside to ignore. And for those of you that are not familiar with the story, let me tell you that Erin, who was last seen at 12 a.m. September 27th on the 2300 block of South Lee Street, ended up having the police department really push for the public's help and assistance to try to locate her. And they really started doing that around October 18th. They had no clue where Erin was, and her family posted, you know, a few things like, here's one example. Her family has not lost hope in finding her. However, with each passing day, the agony of not knowing where she is or if something has happened to her is agonizing for everyone that knows and loves her. And guys, they also started a GoFundMe page. And, you know, with all the stories that we've been covering, I was not familiar with Erin's story. According to people that knew her, they said that Erin was not familiar with the streets And it's out of character for her to just leave or not be heard from. I want to just make sure I mention this, that Erin, she lived on the South Lee Street of South Philadelphia. So one of Erin's friends remembered being with Erin at a parade for the Eagles' 2018 Super Bowl win and lifting the 5-foot-tall brunette up on his shoulders so that she could see above the crowd. He described his friend Erin and a neighbor as a very talkative and outgoing, but said he fears that she might have gotten caught up with the wrong crowd. His grandmother, which is Jeanette Harley, who is 71 years old, lives on Lee Street, said that she remembers Erin and other kids from the block running in and out of the homes on the block during the summers. These kids all ran around together, and I mean, this is South Philly. Anyways, I want to go over this before I forget. Remember, guys, I mentioned that they found her when they had a warrant for another house. Well, we're going to cover that now. So on Thursday, sheriff's deputies had gone to Twin on Porter Street to arrest Madison Leedy, who was 25 years old, who lived at that address. And this is because they served a warrant in a connection with a robbery. Now, they had told us at the beginning that, you know, they were just going for this robbery, but it was later they actually received a tip that there was the missing 18-year-old woman was inside that home. So after they discovered that Erin's remains were in the basement in a bathtub at that house, partially dismembered, by the way, Leedy and 4 other people were also in that house, taken into custody for questioning, and this is according to authorities. Guys, the story is a little mixed up. So the sheriff's office also said on Friday that Leedy was arrested for violation of probation for that robbery. As for the other 4, Philadelphia police spokesman said that no one else has been charged, but the investigation continues. Guys, I think the most disturbing thing about this is you had 4 people living in that house, or at least was in that house for a period of time, with this odor lingering in the house, which police said is not mistakable. It was very strong and it would be noticed. It's just really hard to understand how in a world that they could live in something like that, and much less do something like that if they are the ones that did it. So we don't know that for sure now, but we're suspecting most likely they are, since it was the remains were found in that home. So these type of stories seem to be growing, you know, even though we're hearing that crime's going down, but we're hearing more of these type of homicides are growing. And that's kind of more, that's a little bit more disturbing in my opinion, to see the fact that these people are growing so cold, right? I mean, you have to understand, you know, the energy that goes into doing something of this nature. And afterwards, it's not over with, because then you still have to live with the actions that you took. And it appears that a lot of people that are involved with these type of crimes are able to live as if it never happened. And that's the most disturbing part to me. A lot of people like to blame it on psychopaths or sociopaths, but what else is going on? Definitely there's a red flag as what we need to know, why these people are so detached and what is driving them to that point to where they detached, or if they were ever even synced with any part of humanity at any part of their life. And what's even more scary is I've been doing a little research on this, and it says that according to a neuroscientist that's doing research on this, he says that we each all have rage, and every one of us are capable of doing something. Not saying that everybody would, you know, murder with somebody, but we're capable of doing something to hurt somebody else if we're pushed to that point. And you could check that article out. I might link it below, but it's kind of curious how he was saying that, you know, we can't predict who is capable of doing such a horrific act. However, you're able, that each and every person is capable of doing something. And that's with the right recipe of disaster. And I really didn't take that one too much seriously. But some people believe that, you know, this is true, that most people are capable of doing something, especially when they get in that mindset and they, you know, that rage hits a certain point. It's just like the Heidi case, you know, her best friend, you know, they were best friends for years. They met at a church camp. They were best friends. They stayed in contact, supposedly close. And somehow, this girl decides when her friend Heidi has a baby that, you know, Heidi doesn't mean anything to her any longer. She sets up a plot, you know, to dispose of Heidi and steal her infant child from her. And when people are looking for her, she's talking with police, she's talking with friends, she's talking with family, seems to be concerned all the while she has that infant in her house and the body of Heidi out in her car, and is functioning fine. This is so disturbing to me to see that a best friend of all things was capable. I mean, where was the rage? There was no rage for this girl. And that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. And I'm wanting to point out is there are people doing these things that don't even have rage. So I'm curious as to, you know, what that scientist would say on this case. But anyways, guys, I know I've got to close out. These are 3 horrific stories. I wanted to share these stories, document them. You know, a lot of these stories we don't hear about on here, and these are some of the stories I didn't know about. So, anyways, I know I've been slacking a bit. I've not been feeling so great. As you know, guys, I struggle a little bit with health. And also been busy in between that. But I am trying to get back up to speed. Now, I do want to suggest, guys, I do have a Patreon. I got a few people who have subscribed to help me out. I don't do anything on Patreon right now, but I plan to work on that. I've been working on my computer, trying to set it up to where I can do lives and things. If you can, please help me out on Patreon. If you don't have it, then that's okay too. Just make sure, guys, you hit that like and subscribe button, share the videos. That helps just as much. I did purchase a few lights and some equipment to, you know, upgrade my videos and things like that. It's going to take time to put it all together, though. So I'm spending a little bit of money to try to make my videos just a little bit better. So now I need to just work on my mic. I still haven't found one I like. I'm going to watch a few people who are doing broadcasting and see which mics they are using. The thing is I use my phone a lot of times, so I can purchase a nicer mic, but it's not going to work on this phone. So what I might do is once I get going on this computer is I'll have a mic for my computer and then a mic for my phone. Anyways, guys, if you're not familiar with where the Patreon, my Patreon is, you can look at on my channel on the top right. You can see it in the corner there. Just hit that and it should take you to the Patreon page. Just remember, I haven't finished upgrading that either. Now, I have to say, I have been trolled lately, and I've heard other people talking about trolls. But you know what I found out, guys? It was other channels that were trolling me. That is not good, is it? I don't do that. Why would you do that? You know, I share my stuff. I don't have watermarks on most things. Come on, be nice, guys. You know, it just turned out it was mostly other channels that was doing it. It wasn't the viewers even. Or even people that if they disagree with you, they don't do it either. They just share how they feel and they like it still and move on. So you're not going to be able to please everybody ever. So I want to say once more, congratulations to the people who won for the Christmas, reward thing. I have sent some stuff out. I hope Lady D got hers. I haven't heard from her. I know Ashley got hers. Congratulations, girl. Love you. I still have to send Sid's out. I'm getting it. And then there was the other people didn't ever get in contact by email. So I guess they're not interested any longer. I don't know. Don't forget, guys, if you go to community, I have a link to where you can buy a Chasing a Murderer t-shirt if you want one. I had a few people buy them. Right now, I don't have the faces of the girls on there like I wanted to, simply because I didn't research it before I said it, and I didn't think about the resolution that we have. These pictures that we get, they're shared time and time again, and the resolution just gets worse. And I could not find any pictures that we could use that would put out a good print on those shirts. So I'm going to have to do a little bit more research and then try it again later on, because I do want to make my shirts. That's what I want, is a walking bulletin board for my shirts that I have. And the girls' faces that I want to put on those shirts are the faces of the girls that have been missing the longest. So we're up to 10,800 subscribers. Wow, guys, thank you so much. We're doing good, aren't we, guys? So I think we slowed down a little bit, and that's where I slowed down. But that's okay, guys. Life happens. These things happen, and I'm trying to get back on the roll. Oops, sorry about that, guys. My Google reminder. I need to cancel all those reminders. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and close it out for now. I love you guys. I appreciate everything you do. I appreciate you caring most of all. That's the most important. And I will see you guys soon. Bye.